I never saw that coming. Got the craziest roommate ever. He got a stomach bug in the middle of the night. I drove him to the hospital. And then he asked me to split the meds and gas money. I would've been fine with just some pills. But no, you had to be a busybody. So, you gotta pay up. Later the dorm collapsed in a huge storm. When he cried for help, I just bolted out the door. 'Cause I came back from the dead. This time I wanna watch him dig his own grave. Bai Sishiang God reminds you. The wild story kicks off right now. Heavy rain was slapping against the windows with a loud crack, and thunder was booming too. I jolted awake from a deep sleep. I was so amped up. My head smacked against the railing with a thud. I gripped the bed rail tight, and just opened my mouth on instinct, gasping for air. Like a fish about to die from thirst. Cold sweat dripped down my forehead. The sound of bones crunching kept ringing in my ears. My heart was like it ran a marathon, pounding hard, almost jumping out of my throat. In just a moment, my PJs were totally soaked with sweat, sticking to my skin. The guy on the next bed by Fei freaked out seeing me. Shen man, are you crazy? Why are you acting like a lunatic in the middle of the night? You scared me to death. Boo-hoo. The other girl Tang woke up too. When she saw me like this, she rolled out of bed in one go, and grabbed my shoulders. Worried she asked Xiaoman, you okay? I slowly lifted my head, staring straight at Bai Fei. What are you looking at me like that for? Bai Fei got creeped out by my stare, and shivered. Suddenly he seemed to realize something, pulled the blanket over, and covered his chest. You psycho. He yanked the curtain shut, grabbed his phone and pouted to whoever was on the other end. Ugh. It's just my dumb roommate. Sleeping fine. Then suddenly screamed, and kept staring at me like a creep. Totally scared me. A creepy laugh came from his phone. Then he mumbled something. Bai Fei looked up at me weird, and quickly turned down the volume. He giggled all sweet and soft, twisting his body like a pretzel. Like you care if the other person can see you. You're so bad. What's so interesting about Shenman the nerd? She even sleeps all neatly dressed, like she's about to go to class. Doesn't act like a girl at all. Okay, I'll let you have a peek. Just one peek. Tang was a straight shooter. Hearing Bai Fei's words, immediately shot back, if you're horny just move out. Girl. Are we part of your harem too? Bai Fei didn't back down either, showing half his face from behind the curtain, pouting his lips. I know you guys hate me. If I had the money, I would have moved out long ago. Why would I be here to get bullied and shamed? Bai Fei's mouth could always twist black into white. Tang had enough, and they went back and forth arguing. It wasn't until then that I finally recovered from the suffocating feeling. That's right. This familiar yet crazy conversation confirmed to me that I've really been reborn. What just happened wasn't a dream. In my past life I was pushed off the stairs by my roommate Bai Fei. There were 3 of us in the dorm. Me, Tang across from me and Bai Fei next to me. Bai Fei's family wasn't well off. His parents were farmers. And not in good health either. The whole family lived off farming and odd jobs. But even so, they worked hard to put Bai Fei through college. Bai Fei was hardworking and ambitious, tough and independent. Always jumping in to do chores at the dorm. Acting all caring and sweet. Plus Bai Fei had fair skin. And a pretty face. And talked in a soft voice. A girl like that is hard not to like. So at the start of school, the 3 of us got along great. Almost inseparable. We went to class together, ate together, hanging out and walking around. Staying up late at night chatting about all kinds of gossip under the covers. Knowing Bai Fei's family situation was tight, we always tried to look out for him. When we went out to eat or watch movies it was always me and Tang picking up the tab. Later Bai Fei started dating someone. You know how girls are. They always want to look pretty in front of their partner. So he slowly started learning about makeup and putting outfits together. His monthly allowance was only $800. A little bit of makeup would wipe it out completely. He had to cut back on food. Sometimes he'd only eat 1 pack of instant noodles a day. I was worried he'd starve. So I shared my makeup and skincare stuff with him for free. Tang also pulled out some dresses she'd never worn from her closet and gave them to him. To make sure he didn't feel guilty, I cheerfully told him to use them however he wanted. Even though he'd scoop out a huge glob of cream every time, and a jar of moisturizer would be gone in a week. But somewhere along the line, our relationship started to shift. One time Bai Fei asked me to borrow $5,000, said he had an emergency, and would pay me back the next month. Seeing how desperate, he looked like he was about to cry. Trusting him, I sent it over without a second thought, but when the next month came, he showed no sign of paying me. A whole semester passed, and he never brought it up. Then my phone broke, and I needed to buy a new one. So I asked him to return the money, but the second I said it, he got this annoyed look on his face, and asked like, are you really that broke right now? I was stunned by his question, thinking whether I'm short on cash or not. Asking for my own money back is totally fine, right? I said Fei, it's just I've already hit up my mom for a lot of cash these 2 months. If I ask her again, she'll definitely yell at me. Any normal person hearing that would get what I'm saying. But Bai Feifei acted like he didn't understand, just grabbed my hand and said, Xiaoman, it's not that I don't want to pay you back. It's that my dad didn't get his paycheck. When he does, I'll pay you back, okay? But if you're really hurting for money, you could just get a cheaper phone. I bought this one for like 3,000. And I've been using it for 4 years. I was shocked by Bai Fei's logic. In the end, after I kept pushing, Bai Feifei reluctantly called his dad. That's how I finally got my money back. A long time later, I found out that Bai Feifei borrowed that 5,000 bucks from me just to buy a new phone her boyfriend gave her. I thought that was already crazy enough. But the real disgusting stuff was yet to come. Not long after it was my 20th birthday, my mom sent me 2,000 bucks to buy myself a gift. I grabbed the LV bag I'd been dreaming of, came back all happy to show them. Tang Tang said I had good taste. And this bag totally fit my vibe. Even though it was a bit pricey, it was still within my budget. Plus this bag is a classic and holds its value. So it's a solid buy. But Bai Feifei picked up my bag with a jealous tone and said, oh my god, Xiaoman, this bag costs 2,000 bucks. My dad can't even make that much working a whole year. Sigh. Is this what they call the gap between people? By the way, since your family is so loaded, why are you still bugging me to pay you back? Hearing that, my excitement instantly got drenched like a cold shower. Even the bag in my hand seemed to lose its color. This time I didn't let her slide. I looked right at her and said, spending my own family's money, what business is it of yours? My mom is happy to spend that cash on me. Besides, your family being broke is not my fault. What right do you have to be all sarcastic about it? And I don't care if you buy your boyfriend a phone. But have the guts to not borrow money from me. Way to go, Bai Feifei. Can't even afford to feed yourself. Yet you buy gifts for your boyfriend. A girl like you. Even Wang Baochuan would have to step aside for you. Bai Feifei got so mad at me she cried face in hands, and ran out of the dorm. After that, me and Bai Feifei grew pretty distant, but not to the point of burning bridges. What really blew up our relationship was when Bai Feifei had a sudden acute stomach infection late at night. She was writhing in pain on the bed like crazy. Me and Tung Tung couldn't stand to watch. The two of us, barely 80 pounds each, took turns carrying Bai Feifei down the stairs and got her to the hospital. The doctor said we were just in time. If we'd been any later, another broken faucet. Everything went black. I couldn't catch my breath. And I passed out cold. The moment she fainted, I became the target of everyone's blame. She's your mother-in-law. Even if she did something wrong, you can't treat her like that. We're all family. Just let it slide. That's right. What kind of wife acts so tough? Every family has its ups and downs. All my aunties and uncles from back home started acting all high and mighty. One by one they tried to guilt-trip me. I didn't say a word, just rested my chin on my hand, and calmly watched them until they all finished talking. Then I slowly added one thing, where does everyone live? All my relatives are everywhere. If you guys don't like how my mother-in-law visits our house, then I don't mind bringing my relatives to your houses for a visit. That one line shut everyone up completely. All the relatives turned red in the face, like they were constipated, and couldn't force out a single word. They knew deep down, if I actually did what I did to those 3 families, and pulled the same stunt at their places, they wouldn't be able to handle it at all. Seeing that all the relatives were speechless, I looked around the room, with a calm tone, but with undeniable authority. Looks like you all agree they crossed the line. Since that's the case, don't come telling me what to do anymore. Whoever tries one more time, I'll bring my relatives knocking on your door right away. My husband's aunties, uncles and cousins had all seen the video of the new house getting trashed. So of course they knew how far my mother-in-law had gone. Who brings relatives to someone's house and messes it up that bad? Out of family loyalty. They wanted to convince me to be understanding, but they didn't expect me to not buy it at all. So they put their last hope on my husband, hoping he'd step in and scold me. Too bad they picked the wrong guy. Me and my husband had already been on the same page. The reason he married me in the first place was because he liked how fierce I was, that I could stand up to his mom. Now in just 1 month, I did what he always wanted to do but was too scared to. He couldn't be happier. So how could he possibly blame me? Speaking of my husband, he has it rough too, honestly. Who in their right mind would ask their own mom to come mess with their mother-in-law? But he had no choice. His mom's control over him. Even a psycho would feel inferior. This twisted kind of control pretty much ruined his life. He told me something once. One time he had a night shift. Some machine broke down at the factory. He worked his butt off all night fixing it. Got home at 7:30 in the morning. He just wanted to catch some sleep. But the second he lay down, his mom started banging on the door, like crazy. Son, get up now. It's already light out. Why are you still in bed? Mom, I just got off work. I was on night shift all night. Don't bother me. Let me sleep. My husband replied, annoyed. His mom heard him and left for a bit. But half an hour later, at exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, She came back on time and kept banging on the door. Son, I made you some porridge. Get up and eat it first. He said he was just about to doze off. And that loud banging nearly scared him to death. He yelled at the door, Mom, I told you I didn't sleep all night. Can't you just let me rest for a bit? I just worry you'll ruin your stomach from not eating. Who do you think I'm doing this for? I kindly made you food. And you yell at me. You have no conscience. His mom fired back, screaming right back at him. All that nagging drove my husband crazy. Fine. I'm sorry. My bad. Let me say it again. I'm super tired. Can you just let me sleep, please? My husband tried to smooth things over, hurry to say sorry. In the end almost begged, said okay. You sleep now. Mom won't bother you anymore. My husband heard his mom say that and felt a huge relief. Thought they could finally get some good sleep. Who knew half an hour later, his mom came knocking again. Son, I just watched a video. The doctor said people can't skip breakfast. So get up and eat your breakfast. Son, are you listening to me? Get up now. Come eat quickly. The mother-in-law called for a while, saw my husband ignoring her, and started banging on the door again like crazy. My husband told me, at that moment he really wanted to die. Couldn't understand why his mom never listened to him. So he eventually moved to the company dorm. Thought he couldn't change his mom, but maybe some distance would help. Who knew my mother-in-law was even crazier? My husband hung up on her. She just kept calling and calling, until my husband turned off his phone. Scarier than spam calls. Even worse. Even if the phone was off, as long as my husband did what she said, even at 3 a.m, she would show up at his dorm and start banging on the door like crazy, keeping everyone in the dorm awake. Mom, are you crazy? This is the company dorm, not our house. Why are you knocking at this hour? Why didn't you answer my call? I was worried something happened to you in the dorm. At the end of the day, I'm doing this for you. Why did you move to the dorm anyway? Home is so much better. I wash your clothes. I cook your meals. If you get a fever or something, I'd know right away. If you get sick in the dorm, who's gonna help you? My husband often shakes with anger. But whether he yelled or begged, it didn't help. His mom kept doing her thing. Until my husband did what she said. Her control made him feel hopeless about life. He was scared to date anyone. And even more scared to get married. Because he thought there was no way a grown man like him could handle his mom's craziness. Let alone some young girl. Until he met me. I don't care about the situation when something goes down. I don't care about age. Or seniority. If you're in the wrong, I'll take you down. And let me tell you, my husband made the right call picking me. We'd only been married for a month. When I managed to drive his mom into the hospital. And shut up all the relatives. They didn't dare say a single unfair word after that. My wildness completely blew my husband's family away. That night my husband and I got home from the hospital. And he looked at me with total admiration. Babe, you know what? When I got home that day, and saw the place like that, I felt like I wanted to die. I can only imagine how pissed you were. Honestly, anyone coming home and seeing their house wrecked like that would blow a gasket, even if they didn't have high blood pressure. Especially you. The fact you didn't throw hands right there shows you've got class. Babe, how did you keep your cool back then? Looking at my husband's handsome face, I let out a cold laugh. The more pissed I get, the more I like to smile. Just wait. This ain't over yet. Not over. What else you got planned? Hearing that, my husband sat up in bed all excited. His eyes lit up like he was ready for a show. Clearly, he'd forgotten I was going after his own relatives. This poor guy had been guilt-tripped for so many years. He was dying to see someone put those know-it-alls in their place. I looked at him like that, just smiled and said, just wait. I'll make them come crawling to apologize properly. I always keep my word. About a month later, I figured the folks back home had cleaned up their act and were back to normal life. So I brought another group of relatives and marched over to those 3 houses, basically going full destruction mode, visiting relatives. The worst hit was cousin Shiuli's in-laws. Damn it. That bastard bear. His brat messed with my makeup. I'll never forget it. So while they were out for dinner, I brought some people and trashed their house. Didn't break anything on purpose. Just made it a total mess. So dirty they could never wash it clean. Painted the walls with ink. Took every piece of clothing out of their closet. And rolled them in mud in the fields. Scratched up the sofa and table. Even the ceiling got it. Had someone splash greasy leftovers all over. Looked impossible to clean. Oh yeah. I also got their chickens, ducks and geese. Plucked all their feathers. Left them barely alive if they didn't freeze. In the dead of winter, those birds with no feathers probably won't make it to spring. My goal was simple. Make it take them at least 4 or 5 days to clean up. When I was almost done with my fun, their family came back. Saw the house looking like a tornado hit it. They went nuts on the spot. Especially cousin Shiuli. Her eyes were red like they were bleeding. She wanted to tear me apart right there. Bitch. Bitch. Are you freaking crazy? You mother. I'll kill you. She grabbed a broom from the yard and swung it at me. I caught the broom handle and slapped her hard across the face, spun her around a few times. How dare you hit your wife? You freaking woman. I'll beat you to death. Shiuli's husband saw his wife get hit. His eyes went red, came right at me. At a guy. I never go easy on anyone. Yelled out. The relatives I brought over pinned me down. Hold him down for me. What do you think you're doing? Cousin Shiuli screamed in terror. Ran over to stop it. But my people blocked her in place. Her in-laws were sitting on the ground wailing. Someone help. Come quick. Anyone there? This good-for-nothing trash is trashing our house. Help. Someone. They were yelling for the neighbors to help. But I brought way too many people this time. All of them big and bulky. The neighbors didn't want any trouble. Only a few kind ones called the cops. Too bad. By the time the cops showed up, that cheap brother-in-law was already on the ground, getting force-fed slop water. Such a dirty mouth. Time to clean it out. If you can't talk right, just shut up. Bitch. Bitch. I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm telling you. Cousin Shiuli was shaking with rage, grabbing her hair and screaming non-stop. She wanted to hit me, but couldn't even get close. Sue me. I'll be waiting. Half an hour later, me and Cousin Shiuli's whole family got taken to the police station. Cousin Shiuli finally felt like she had backup, and went crazy right there in the station. It's him. This bitch right here. Breaking into my house, trashing my place, and beating up my husband. You gotta arrest him now. Give him life in prison. Cousin Shiuli listed out a sheet right there, demanding I pay her family 300,000. I'm telling you, if I don't get that 300,000 today, I won't let this go. I'll sue you to death. Make you rot in jail. Get you fired. Let's see how you act so tough then. Cousin Shiuli looked at me smugly, like she was demanding the moon. This is totally hitting the spot for me. Let out a cold laugh. Pulled out the security footage from when he brought the kid into my new place last time. In the video it was crystal clear. He went into my bedroom with the kid, swiped my Boss Quartz watch worth over $1 million. And his kid wrecked my bag worth 300,000. Along with tons of designer clothes and makeup. Every single thing on that list was enough to make his whole family go broke paying for it. Even the cops were quiet watching the footage. Over $1 million. Treated as theft like that. How many years would he have to sit in jail? Cousin Shiuli never saw it coming. That I still had that security footage. She was so scared sweat was dripping cold. No, that's not it. This was a gift from my aunt. She told me I could take whatever I wanted. I'll call my aunt right now. She can vouch for me. Cousin Shiuli was hopping mad. Even if she was clueless. She knew stealing over $1 million was a huge deal. How could it be? Back then cousin said it was just 100,000. Didn't you say it was cheap stuff? Oh my god. Where are you gonna find over $1 million to pay back? Cousin Shiuli's mother-in-law, father-in-law, and husband instantly crowded around her. Cousin Shiuli was almost crying too. Shakily called my mother-in-law. In no time, a bunch of folks showed up from back home. Even my husband was dragged back from work by his mom. The whole family sat in the police station listening to Shiuli sob. Auntie, you gotta back me up. You said I could take whatever I wanted. You said everything in here was your son's, so you could call the shots. Cousin Shiuli was crying in hiccups. Snot and tears all over her face. Looking totally pathetic, but even so, the look she gave me was still full of wolf-like malice. Even at a time like this, she still wouldn't admit she was wrong. Totally asking for it. Don't cry. Shiuli, don't cry. Auntie's here for you. I won't let you go to jail. Ever since the last time she bullied me, my mother-in-law kept quiet for a while, and now she felt like she had her daughter-in-law back in line. Right away he slapped his chest, promising to sort her out. Then he turned around and chewed my husband out. Are you dead or what? Can't you see your wife bullying your sister like this? What's the big deal with taking some of your stuff? We're family. What future whatever? That's a gift. You go explain that to the cops. And take your cousin some more stuff. Compensate their family properly. More yelling. Man, that's some serious nerve. Like I'm a ghost or something. I was just itching to laugh on the side. I shot my husband a glare. Luckily he didn't let me down. Mom. I don't dare. I'm scared of him. Maybe you should talk to him yourself. You're tougher. He'll definitely listen to you. Snorting. Everyone in the police station couldn't help cracking up. First time seeing someone so proud to admit they're scared of their wife. You worthless piece. Your own mom's getting bullied. And you tell me you're scared of your wife. Oh my heavens, no justice. I raised this kid all by myself into my 80s. Saved up hard to get him a wife. Now he teams up with her to bully me. Oh dear, my god. I raised an ungrateful brat. My mother-in-law kept smacking my husband's back. Broke my heart so much I wanted to tear her apart. In the end, she just plopped right down on the floor and started throwing a fit. That move always worked on my husband before. Worked like a charm every time. He's got thin skin. And way too much moral sense. Couldn't handle her drama at all. Too bad for her though. Her son married me. I'm like to someone having a meltdown my whole life. 'Cause I can out-crazy them. You hit my husband right, then I'm hitting back. I never back down. I said that with a cold face. Everyone there was stunned. Just as they wondered what I was gonna do. I turned around and slapped my father-in-law across the face. That sharp slap made the whole police station hall go dead silent. Forget about them. Even my husband was frozen in place. And my father-in-law was just stunned for a long time. You hit my man. So I hit your man. That's fair enough. If you don't get up, then I'll keep going. After saying that, I raised my hand and slapped my father-in-law again. That's for being reckless. If he hadn't always been covering for you, and never stepped up, my husband wouldn't have been so miserable. Hitting people is so satisfying. I really wanted to do it again. I thought about it and gave another slap. Finally some cop snapped out of it. And quickly came over to stop me. Ah, you little brat. How dare you hit your father-in-law? Aren't you afraid of getting struck by lightning? After my mother-in-law said that, she scrambled up from the ground. And lunged at me to hit me. I turned around and started fighting with her. When women fight, it's all about biting, kicking, and pinching. I've got plenty of experience in this crap. I've been scrapping with village kids since I was little. I know it all too well. The most deadly move in a catfight is grabbing hair. Or cheap shots like going for the chest. That stuff works best. Damn. When the tiger doesn't show its teeth, you think it's a sick cat. I respected you as an elder. But you just had to come looking for trouble. We were going at it so hard. The cops couldn't even pull us apart. All the relatives were scared and backed off to watch. Why don't you step in? That's your mom and your wife. A cop yelled out. My husband was completely frozen. After the cop reminded him, he finally rushed over. But I yelled him back. When women fight, men stay out of the way. Oh my god. You as a daughter-in-law. Actually hitting your in-laws. The thunder god will smite you sooner or later. I just waited. With my messy hair all over the place. I shot back with a boss attitude. That day at the police station it was total chaos. My mother-in-law wanted to sue me for hitting her. But the cop said it was a mutual fight. If we really dig into it. She started it first. So at best it's a family spat. Pretty cousin Shiuli wanted compensation. But when they added it up she owed me way more. She chickened out right there. In the end we just signed a settlement. And that whole drama fizzled out. Auntie, you gotta find a way to deal with that woman. Can't let her walk all over us. Pretty cousin Shiuli still had a grudge against me. In a few days she cooked up some nasty plan. To give advice to my mother-in-law. So what should we do? That woman is way too tough. My mother-in-law wasn't giving up either. She dreamed of having me serve her tea and water. And bow down to her. But I'm too fierce. And that scared her from the bottom of her heart. Auntie, you what? Listen to me. My cousin whispered in my mother-in-law's ear. Mumbling something I couldn't catch. But my mother-in-law's eyes got brighter and brighter. And I saw all this clear as day on the camera I hid at home. Last time when things got ugly, I secretly installed a camera at the old house. Didn't expect to use it so soon. That really came in handy. Auntie, don't be scared. You crashed at my cousin's place. You've got the upper hand no matter what. Plus, look at Zhao Gang. He used to listen to you all the time. Ever since he got married. You're like invisible to him as his mom. Aren't you mad? You're right. I can't let that little witch get away with it. I gotta keep an eye on them. With that, my mother-in-law packed her bags in a huff. Before leaving she tried to drag her husband along. He's such a pushover. Pretty much like my husband. Plus he got slapped around at the police station. Already traumatized. He flat out refused to come. Let his daughter-in-law. He thought it was beneath him. Instead of getting slapped back, he couldn't take the embarrassment. So he just tagged along anyway. You useless wimp. How did I end up with such a loser? Just you wait. I'm gonna get even this time for real. See if I can take down that little witch. My mother-in-law strutted into the city all proud. When I got off work I saw her sitting in the living room. I just raised an eyebrow coolly. Until dinner time. She finally spoke up saying she wanted to stay with us for a while. My husband immediately shrank down. But I just flashed a sly grin. Sure. Mom. Stay as long as you want. Well. You're so reasonable, Xiaochen. Xiaochen. We had some misunderstandings before. But now you're part of the family. From now on we're one big happy family. I'll treat you like my own daughter. You know what they say, no hard feelings between family. Let's just move on and live well. Don't worry. I'm a great cook. I'll take good care of you too. I've already let go of the past. Trust me. You're welcome to stay forever. My husband saw my smile. And thought of my famous theory. The angrier I am the more I smile. Couldn't help but shrink my neck. That evening. My husband crept up next to me. And whispered, honey, I got no beef with my mom. But could you please leave her some dignity? At least let her walk out of our house on her own 2 feet. What are you talking about? Do I look like some kind of bully to you? Don't worry. Your mom's gonna be just fine. I promise. After this, she will become the most respectful mother-in-law in the world. My husband heard that and lit up. That's good. Really good. God knows how much he wished his mom knew how to show some respect. But she never learned that in her life. After I nodded. The first few days of my mother-in-law living with us were pretty chill. But that fake peace only lasted a week. On the 8th day at 5 a.m. me and my husband got woken up by this insane chopping noise from the kitchen. I was so tired I couldn't even open my eyes. So I kicked my husband. Told him to go deal with his mom. And you can guess what happened. He came back totally shut down by his mom. Back when I was a daughter-in-law I never slept this late. Every single day I was up at 5 a.m. making breakfast. Not like you young folks today. Still lying in bed. Making the old lady cook for you. Mom. We're super busy with work. Mornings are really important to us. Can you not make a big deal out of this? My husband said helplessly. What do you mean I'm making a big deal? I woke up early to make you breakfast. And you're complaining. Who am I doing this for? Now you listen to everything your wife says. You even criticize me for cooking. Have you forgotten who raised you through thick and thin? You know how grandma treated me. You remember. In the dead of winter she made me wash all the clothes by myself. My hands cracked so bad from the cold. You were the one who put ointment on them. Back then you were so sweet, taking care of my cuts. But now, you got a wife and forgot your mom. Every time my husband tried to reason with his mom, she'd drag up all the hard times from the past. Totally off topic. Leaving my husband completely speechless. Mom, you also said my grandma was mean to you back then. Put yourself in her shoes. Now that you're a mother-in-law, can't you be a bit nicer to your own daughter-in-law? My husband meant well. But some people just don't see it that way. In their eyes. I went through all that crap. Why shouldn't you have to deal with it too? Why did I have to bow and scrape as a daughter-in-law? And now that I'm the mother-in-law I still have to bow and scrape? No way. The perks I never got as a daughter-in-law. She didn't even think about it. It's tradition for a wife to take heat from her mother-in-law. That's the rule passed down from our ancestors. My husband actually felt kinda sorry for his mom. But after hearing her say that, he instantly lost all interest in talking further. All right. Let his wife handle it then. He really can't deal with this. My mother-in-law not only makes noise in the morning, she always barges in when me and my husband are alone. Now come evening, she always finds some excuse to knock on the door. My husband says, if she keeps this up a few more times, he'll have to go see a urologist. Honey, please take care of it. I'm begging you. My husband grabbed my hand all pitiful like, begging me to step in. I smiled, and said, don't lock the bedroom door tonight. Your mom's definitely gonna come knocking again. My husband looked totally confused, but still did what I said. That same night, sure enough my mother-in-law came knocking again, but nobody expected. The door wasn't locked. She knocked hard, and the door swung right open. Me and my husband were watching Japanese adult films in HD on the projector. My mother-in-law walked in and saw the whole scene. She froze right there on the spot. My husband blushed and looked down, trying to hide. But I held him tight. I leaned on my husband's shoulder, and said slowly to my mother-in-law, Mom, wanna watch with us? I don't mind. What? No. Who would wanna watch with you? What the hell are you talking about? Shameless. My mother-in-law finally caught on, and let out a loud yell. Bam, she slammed the door shut, and ran off like a scared rabbit. Over the next few days, I lined up a bunch of similar movies, all about cranking up the volume. Every time she came to knock, she could hear the blushing sounds inside, and it freaked her out so she turned tail. After a few days in a row, my mother-in-law finally cooled down, and stopped bothering our married life at night. But I wasn't happy about it. So I started every morning at 3. On the dot knocking on her door to wake her up. Are you crazy, or what? Why aren't you sleeping late at night? And coming to knock on our door, she got furious and started cursing. Your son is hungry. I gotta wake you up to cook for him, didn't you say? You raised him with so much effort, through thick and thin. Now that he's finally married, you're just gonna wash your hands of him. There's no way that works, in this world. Even if he's married, he's still your son. When he gets hungry in the middle of the night, if not you then who? You gotta screw loose. He's a grown man. Hungry in the middle of the night. Can't he find food himself? Huh. He used to be able to. But living with you he forgot how. So it's still on you. If you don't want to do it, then let him come out and I'll sleep. With that, she was about to barge into the room to get my husband. But one sentence from me stopped her dead in her tracks. Your son sleeps without clothes on. You should go get him some clothes first. You must be pretty curious. A few more looks won't hurt. I don't mind. At first the words didn't mean much. But then my teasing look and tone totally broke her composure. Those vague words of mine made it sound like he was some kind of creep. She was hopping mad, calling me a psycho, You're nuts. That's my son. My own flesh and blood. Yeah. I know he's your son. That's why I let you watch for free. If it was someone else, I'd charge them a few bucks. I've got tons more photos of him. Want me to send you a few? So you can relive the good times. How you raised him through all that mess. If you want to go clean up after him now, I wouldn't mind. You. The old lady was so mad she pointed at my forehead. She twisted around for a while. Couldn't get a word out. I bet after that, she never dared to bring up that whole messy raising thing again. 'Cause I made that phrase haunt her forever. And it wasn't just that. I straight up dropped the hammer. If you ever say that again, I'm telling my husband to skip wiping his butt after he poops. So you're stuck cleaning it for him. You've been doing it since he was a kid anyway. Don't tell me you'll stop just 'cause he's married. For days straight, my mother-in-law kept waking me up in the middle of her dreams, with the same old excuses. Your son's hungry. Your son feels sick. Your son wants water. I used those same excuses to wake her up at exactly 5 in the morning every day, doing exactly what she did before. An old lady can't handle that kind of nonsense. A few days in and she was beat, and bowed her head to apologize to me. I'm sorry. I won't get up at 5 to cook anymore. Please. Just let me sleep through the night. I'm old. I can't handle this. So you do get it. It sucks being woken up when you want to sleep, huh? I let out a bitter laugh, and started tallying everything up. Since you know, why did you keep pushing when I told you he was tired and needed to rest? You had to force him to get up for that bowl of porridge. Was that porridge some magic pill? Would he die without it? My mother-in-law was speechless after I laid into her. She opened her mouth, glanced at her son Zhao Gang, then turned away blushing, too scared to look him in the eye. Did he ever tell you? He was exhausted from work and needed sleep, but you kept waking him up over and over. If he slept in a bit, would the world end? I kept pushing. The computer was on downloading stuff. You still bugged him, making him get up at midnight to shut it off. He told you the computer was downloading something. No need to turn it off. You woke him up every half hour. You think you're saving electricity. You're draining your son's life. You think he's too comfortable. Want to shorten his lifespan. No. I mean, my mother-in-law was in tears because I pushed her. She tried to explain to Zhao Gang, but she couldn't get a word out. Now you know how it feels. What about him back then? He was forced by you to crash in the dorm. You didn't let him off. You went to the dorm at night and pounded on his door. You made him feel small in front of his co-workers. If you weren't his own mom, he would have turned into a murderer. I only did that for his own good. I was just worried about him. My mother-in-law yelled back in tears. Fine. You can keep worrying about him now. I'll give you that chance. From now on, if he has even a tiny problem, I'll come find you in the middle of the night. Trust me. I can still knock on your door at 1 in the morning. I was wrong. I really messed up. Okay. My mother-in-law was crying her heart out. All right, babe. Zhao Gang saw her like that, and his heart softened. He spoke up to plead for her. Tomorrow morning I want to see your bags packed. If I wake up and find you still here, then you're never leaving. You'll stay. And I'll take good care of you. I gave her the final ultimatum straight up. The moment my mother-in-law heard she'd be stuck here forever, she freaked out, forgot about the crying, and raced back to her room, packing her bags that very night. My mother-in-law slunk back to her hometown. She thought she had it bad enough. Little did she know someone had it worse. Her niece, Shiuli, my husband's cousin, had a swollen eye, and came crying to her. Shiuli, what happened to you? Auntie, can you ask my cousin to talk to his wife? Tell her to stop sending people to our house. We can't take it anymore. Shiuli sobbed as she spoke, her face all bruised and swollen, looking totally pitiful. After Shiuli finished explaining, the mother-in-law finally realized. While she was crashing at our place, I had already sent someone to mess with my cousin's place a second time, then a third time. I was totally on autopilot by then. They couldn't even guard against it. At first, my cousins-in-laws were cussing me out too, but later they all went after Shiuli. If she hadn't insisted on causing trouble at my house, their family wouldn't have gotten tangled up with a jinx like me. Every month I'd trash their place. Calling the cops was useless, because I had the evidence of that $1 million watch. Who can put up with that kind of hassle all the time? So Shiuli became the family punching bag. Her husband beat her up good. Told her to figure out how to calm things down herself. Auntie, I'm sorry. I really know I messed up. Please tell him to stop trashing things. I'll do whatever he says. Seeing her pathetic niece, the mother-in-law couldn't help feeling relieved. Good thing she got out fast. Otherwise her place would have been wrecked 3 times by now. In the end, my cousin's family came with that spoiled kid. Brought a load of gifts to apologize at my door. And right in front of me, they gave that brat a real good spanking. After that, whenever those kids saw me, they were so scared they barely breathed. Afraid I'd get excited. and come for round 4. And that's it.